The greater the difficulty, the greater the glory in overcoming it. Epicurus. Life is not a path strewn with roses. It is like a majestic mountain range with peaks shrouded in white clouds, where only the steadfast can reach the summit. When facing challenges, we are like climbers confronting steep cliffs, biting winds, and sometimes even solitude. But in the moment when we feel we cannot take another step, unyielding willpower flares up like a torch, lighting the way through the dark. Glory is not for those who give up easily, but for those who rise after every fall. Each drop of sweat that falls is not just a mark of exhaustion, but also a testament to a resilient journey. And when we reach success, that joy is not merely the thrill of victory, but a symphony of effort, faith, and courage. The greater the challenge, the more resounding the triumph, like the sun shining most brilliantly after a fierce storm. Life must be understood backward, but it must be lived forward. Life is like a mysterious novel. While we're living through its pages, every detail feels tangled and unclear. But when we close the book and look back at the chapters gone by, we realize every detail had a purpose. Every event helped lead us to the present. We can only truly understand life by looking back at the past, when we piece together memories into a complete picture. But ironically, life does not allow us to live backward. We must move forward, stepping onward, even without fully understanding what's happening. That is what makes the beauty of the journey of life. We grow through experiences that lack answers, and then one day, looking back, we smile and realize every piece has fallen into its rightful place. Living is walking through fog, while understanding is looking back at the path once the sun has risen. So, move forward courageously, even without all the answers, for it is those steps that write the most profound story of your life. Man is condemned to be free. Jean-Paul Sartre. When we are born, no one asks us who we want to become, but as we grow, we must choose our own path. Freedom forces us to choose, and choice comes with responsibility. There's no place to hide, no one to blame. We alone are responsible for our lives, for every decision, no matter how small. Freedom is like standing at a misty crossroads. No clear map, no guide to lead the way. We must decide the path, knowing that ahead may lie radiant happiness or a deep abyss. And in that solitude, the true essence of humanity emerges. We both fear the vastness of freedom and yearn to master ourselves. Being condemned here is not imprisonment, but an inescapable responsibility. We cannot shrug off freedom like a heavy burden, for even in silence or avoidance, we have made a choice. As Sartre said, "When you do not choose, you have chosen." Freedom is both the torch that lights the way and the fire that tests the heart. And in that condemnation, we find the true meaning of existence. In everything, there is a part of everything else. Anaxagoras. The world does not exist as scattered fragments. It is a vast tapestry, woven from countless tiny threads, where each thread carries traces of all the others. Imagine a single drop of seawater. Within it lies the salt of the ocean, the breath of the wind, and the light of the sun's reflection. Or like a tiny seed that holds the promise of a vast future forest. So too, with humanity within us is a part of nature, of our ancestors, of the people we've met, the places we've been. Every thought, emotion, or action carries the imprint of invisible pieces from our lives. This interconnectedness creates the unity of the universe, where nothing is entirely separate, nor does anything exist alone. From this perspective, every object becomes vibrant and meaningful. When we touch a leaf, we also touch the earth, the sunlight, and the stream of time that nurtured it. When we understand that in everything there is a part of everything else, we learn to live with greater humility and appreciation, and to see the world through eyes of connection rather than division. The brave person is not only one who conquers enemies, but also one who conquers their own pleasures. Democritus. Defeating external enemies may bring fame, status, or admiration from others, but conquering oneself, overcoming fleeting pleasures, temporary desires, is a silent but noble victory. It is when someone resists easy temptations to uphold their principles, when they restrain hasty words, control impulsive emotions, or abandon seemingly harmless habits that quietly erode their will. Like a skilled general who not only wins battles, but also disciplines their troops, the truly brave do not let themselves be swayed by short-lived pleasures. They master themselves like a rider, firmly holding the reins of a wild, untamed horse of emotions. For while external enemies can be subdued by strength, internal enemies can only be overcome by wisdom and willpower. And when someone conquers themselves, they become not only stronger, but also a model of steadfastness, mindfulness, and true inner freedom. Creativity requires the courage to let go of certainties. Erich Fromm. In a world full of patterns, rules, and boundaries, certainties are like sturdy walls, protecting us from risk, but also imprisoning infinite possibilities within. To truly create, one must dare to step out of the comfort zone, accept that the path ahead may be unclear, with no ready map, no guarantee of success. Courage in creativity is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. Like an artist placing the first stroke on a blank canvas, that moment is a leap from the unknown to the possible. Or like a scientist daring to question established truths, opening the door to discoveries that change the world. When we cling to certainties, we merely repeat what already exists. But when we unleash our courage, we let imagination lead the way, opening paths no one has ever trodden. In that space of uncertainty, great ideas are born and timeless works are created. Creativity, therefore, is not just talent, but an act of courage, daring to plunge into the vast unknown, and from there, giving birth to wonders yet to exist. Those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Edmund Burke. When we forget history, we are like sailors venturing out without a map, letting the ship drift aimlessly on the vast sea, unaware of hidden reefs or safe harbors. The mistakes, conflicts, and tragedies of the past will find ways to recur in new forms because human nature and society follow unchanging patterns. Wars, injustices, tyrannies, or divisions all can resurface if we fail to recognize them from the past. Knowing history is not about dwelling in the past, but about understanding the present and shaping the future. Like a lighthouse piercing the dark night, history shows us the paths to avoid, the values to preserve. Those who disregard history's lessons often repeat the very mistakes their ancestors made. But those who respect and learn from history can write a wiser, more humane chapter. For history does not punish. Forgetfulness is the harshest sentence of all. The most wonderful part of beauty is that which no picture can express. Francis Bacon. A picture can capture the lines of a face, a form, a color, but it cannot seize the light from within, that which makes a person, a scene, or a moment extraordinary and memorable. Like when we gaze at a sunset, a photograph may capture the radiant sky, but it cannot recreate the feeling of awe, the heart melting in the glow of the day's end. True beauty is intangible, yet deeply felt. It touches us through expressive eyes, a genuine smile, a gentle demeanor, or a warm energy that no words or lens can capture. It is this inexpressible quality that gives beauty its enduring vitality. It makes us remember, moves us, and sparks a longing to understand more. As a writer once said, "Beauty lies not in the eyes that see, but in the heart that feels." The most wonderful part of beauty is that which can only be felt, not photographed, only stirred, not replicated. And that is why the most beautiful moments in life are often those that cannot be preserved in images, but only held in memory and heart. From a small spark, you can ignite a great flame, Dante. So too in life, every success, every great movement, every profound change begins with something small, a fleeting idea, a simple act of kindness, a belief no one else yet sees. The size of the spark matters not, but the persistence and care we give to nurture it. A timely word of encouragement can awaken dormant faith in someone's heart. A small act of kindness can inspire a ripple effect, creating waves of positivity beyond imagination. And a seemingly trivial beginning can become a guiding torch if we have the courage and persistence to sustain it. Just as the darkness cannot stop the light of a single match, the spark of hope, creativity, or kindness can pierce the darkness if we trust and act upon it. So never underestimate humble beginnings, for from them the greatest things are born. The environment shapes an individual's actions. B.F. Skinner. The environment is like an invisible mold. Every behavior, habit, and way of thinking is shaped, to some degree, by it. If a seed is sown in fertile soil with ample sun and water, it will grow lush and strong. Conversely, in barren ground, it struggles to thrive, despite its inherent potential. So it is with people. A positive environment, full of encouragement and healthy values, unlocks potential and guides actions toward good. But a toxic environment can distort character, fostering harmful behaviors that the individual may not even notice. Beyond material factors, the environment includes the emotional atmosphere, how people interact, the unspoken norms, how society rewards or punishes behavior. An individual may have strong willpower, but in a toxic environment, they must fight harder to stay true to themselves. Conversely, a nurturing environment becomes a springboard, enabling people to act positively without needing excessive effort. Thus, to change an individual's behavior, it's not enough to focus on them alone. The environment must also be reshaped, for it is the silent teacher that molds actions and the future of humanity. No one can hurt me without my permission, Gandhi. In life, we cannot fully control what others say or do, but we can choose how we respond to it. And that choice determines whether we are truly hurt. Criticism, insults, or unjust actions may touch us, but they only wound when we let them penetrate within, when we give them power to shake our values and emotions. If we know our own worth and hold our inner selves like a steadfast mountain, then attacks are like winds brushing past a slope. They may make noise, but cannot bring it down. This doesn't mean becoming numb or ignoring all pain, but learning to master the heart not letting others control our mood, confidence, or peace. That is the mark of inner strength and profound self-respect. When we realize no one can hurt us without our permission, we escape the role of victim and become masters of our lives. We learn to choose what deserves our concern and what to let go, and from that, the heart grows steadfast. The soul becomes free, for emotional power no longer lies in others' hands, but returns to where it belongs, within us. I can control my passions and emotions if I understand their nature. Spinoza. Passion is not inherently bad. It is a powerful energy that fuels us to live fervently, create, and pursue goals. Emotions are not enemies either. They are subtle signals from within, reflecting how we perceive the world. But if we don't understand their nature, passion can turn into blindness. Emotions can become a whirlwind, pulling us along before we can react. When we take time to observe, listen, and analyze ourselves, understanding why we're angry, why we love, why we fear, then what seemed uncontrollable becomes manageable. Like someone who knows a river's flow can channel it to irrigate fields, those who understand emotions won't let them erupt aimlessly, but turn them into a force for creativity and self-growth. Control here is not suppression or denial, but actively grasping and guiding. When we understand the nature of our passions and emotions, we cease to be passive reactors and become masters of our inner selves, living a life that is more awake, profound, and free. Man is not born forever on the day his mother gives birth to him, but life forces him to give birth to himself time and again. Gabriel García Márquez. The moment of birth is merely the opening of physical existence, but the journey to become oneself is a series of spiritual rebirths stretching across a lifetime. Every event, every turning point, every moment, we're forced to change, to adapt, to overcome challenges. That is a moment we are born again, not by anyone else's hand, but through our own will, choices, and courage. Life constantly places us at crossroads, leaving the family's embrace, facing our first failure, experiencing loss, or starting a new chapter. Each time, we shed an old skin, learning to redefine ourselves, our values, beliefs, and direction. This process of self-birth builds resilience, depth, and unique identity in each person. Like a flame that must be rekindled after every gust, we must continually recreate ourselves to keep existing and rising. And the more times we birth ourselves, the stronger, freer, and truer we become to our deepest essence. Independence from public opinion is the first formal condition for achieving something great. Friedrich Hegel. Indeed, every great achievement in history began with individuals who dared to stand alone against the crowd, who held fast to their inner voice when the world shouted otherwise. They are like lighthouses amid a storm, not chasing the waves, but standing firm to light the way. When we depend on public opinion, we become mirrors reflecting only the light of others. But when we break free, we become lamps, self-illuminating, self-guiding. Greatness is not born from noisy consensus, but from silent moments when we dare to listen to ourselves and follow the path few dare to tread. Only then do we truly write our own story, etching our name on peaks no one has yet reached. Knowing is relatively easy. Wanting and acting on what we want is always harder. Aldous Huxley. We are often clear in our understanding, but weak at the threshold of action. Knowing is standing before a path, seeing the destination clearly in the mind. But wanting and acting is placing real steps on rugged ground, enduring wind, rain, and skeptical gazes. Knowing requires only reason, but wanting and acting demand both heart and resolve, like how anyone can draw a treasure map, but only those who set sail truly touch the gold. The gap between knowing and doing is a bridge of courage and determination. Only by crossing that bridge do dreams cease to be mere fantasies, becoming vivid reality. When the TV is on, no one is reading a book. John Irving. The TV, with its lively sounds and vivid images, is like a bustling stage that captures every gaze. Meanwhile, a book is a quiet corner, demanding deep focus and a settled mind. These two worlds stand in contrast, like bright city lights and a small candle in a room. When the lights are too dazzling, the candle's glow fades. So too, when we let external sounds and images dominate our minds, the ability to immerse ourselves in the world of knowledge and imagination slips away. This statement is not just about reading habits, but a reminder of the art of controlling our mental space. To nurture inner depth, we must know when to turn off the external noise. Youth is happy because it has the capacity to see beauty. Whoever retains the ability to see beauty never truly grows old. Franz Kafka. In youth, we see the world with clear eyes. A roadside flower makes us pause to admire. A gentle, sunny afternoon stirs joy in our hearts. It is this ability to be moved by beauty that creates a natural, pure happiness. But over time, many lose this vision. The busyness of life, pressures, and calculations make eyes grow weary, hearts become guarded. Yet, those who retain the ability to see beauty in the ordinary, a smile, a ray of sunlight, a painting, a quiet moment, they never truly age. For when the soul still feels, still marvels, age is just a number, and the heart remains as vibrant as in the beginning. Keeping a childlike gaze is keeping the flame of life alive. We are living in the best of all possible worlds. Leibniz. The best of all possible worlds does not mean a place without suffering, but a place where each person knows how to find light amid darkness. Like an oil painting where bright and dark hues blend, it is that contrast that creates depth and beauty. If it were only pure white, the painting would be flat and lifeless. Think of a morning after the rain. The sun isn't radiant because the sky is perfect, but because after gray clouds, its light feels all the more precious. So too, challenges make us cherish moments of peace. Imperfections teach us to love, to share, and to keep striving. When we believe we're living in the best of all possible worlds, we don't deny reality, but choose to actively create beauty in each day. We focus on the good, nurture gratitude, and spread positive energy to those around us. For the world doesn't become beautiful on its own. It is we, through our gaze and hearts, who make it a place worth living in. Those skilled at making excuses are rarely skilled at anything else. Benjamin Franklin. Those who excel at excuses are often adept at finding reasons why they can't start, why failure is due to circumstances, why they're not wrong, but others are the problem. They are like brilliant architects, building elegant walls of logic, only to trap themselves within. Meanwhile, those who truly excel don't make excuses, they act. They don't blame the rain for failure, but find an umbrella. They don't complain about a rough road, but learn to step more firmly. Facing responsibility hones their resilience, perseverance, and problem-solving skills, qualities that lead to true success. Making excuses is like standing before a foggy mirror. We see our reflection, but not clearly, because the dust of rationalization obscures it. Only when we dare to wipe it clean, to look straight at ourselves, can we begin the journey of growth. Those skilled at excuses may win small arguments, but they often lose the greater battle of life. For success doesn't need reasons. It needs action, effort, and the courage to take responsibility for one's outcomes. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for someone else to die. Anger is like a small flame. If not extinguished quickly, it spreads through the heart, the mind, burning away inner peace. It robs us of sleep, exhausts us, and weighs down the heart. The longer we hold it, the more it poisons every cell, every thought, making us prisoners of our own emotions. Meanwhile, the person we're angry at may live joyfully, continuing their life while we suffer, losing our serenity. This is no different from pouring poison into our own hearts, waiting for another to collapse. A futile wait that prolongs pain because we refuse to let go. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting everything, but freeing ourselves from the chains of negative emotions. When we choose to release anger, we don't do it for the other person. We do it for ourselves, to lighten the heart, to find peace, to let life flow forward. Holding on to anger is self-inflicted suffering. Letting it go is an act of inner strength, not weakness. There is nothing more wonderful than returning to a place that remains unchanged, to discover how you yourself have changed it. Nelson Mandela, that is the moment we truly feel our own growth. The walls still stand, the roof remains intact, the sky as clear as ever, but our gaze has shifted, our heart grown deeper, our thoughts more mature. It is the change within us that gives everything around a new meaning. Like rereading a favorite book after many years, the words haven't changed, but the emotions are different. Because we've grown, experienced more, our perception has deepened. That moment of return is not just nostalgia, but a mirror reflecting our growth. It shows us that our steps, efforts, and experiences were not in vain. We have changed not through words, but through how we feel, how we see, and how we live. There is nothing more wonderful than realizing we've grown amid the stillness of things that seem eternal, and that is one of the most profound experiences of life, returning to understand ourselves better. If we don't believe in freedom of speech for those we despise, then we don't believe in it at all. Noam Chomsky. If we only respect the voices of those who share our views, that's not freedom. It's selective privilege. Freedom of speech demands tolerance and steadfast principle, even when we disagree with what is said. Like a flame illuminating the darkness, freedom of speech doesn't just highlight what we love, but also reveals what is thorny and hard to hear. Yet that is what makes it a cornerstone of a civilized society. Defending the right to speak of those we despise doesn't mean agreeing with them. It means honoring a principle greater than personal feelings. When we limit freedom just because we dislike someone, that boundary will soon be used to limit us. Freedom of speech is not a gift reserved for the majority, but a shield protecting all, even the minority and the despised. When we truly believe in it, we must be ready to defend it for those we dislike, for that is how we protect our own freedom. What we achieve inwardly will change our outer reality. Plutarch. Imagine the soul as a lens. If that lens is clouded with anxiety, anger, or doubt, everything outside appears dim and distorted. But if within us lies peace, gratitude, confidence, and will, even a stormy sky will reveal glimpses of light. Changing the inner self isn't escaping reality, but reshaping how we engage with it. Someone who finds inner strength is no longer swayed by circumstances. They don't wait for a perfect world to live well, but create a better world by first transforming themselves. When the inner self is strong, the outer world shifts to align with that new energy, like a seed sprouting beneath the soil. A quiet inner change creates a vibrant bloom outside. Likewise, when we achieve inner maturity, when we nurture knowledge, will, faith, and love, our outer life begins to reflect those qualities through relationships, work, and opportunities. Outer change begins with inner victory. When we master our inner selves, we cease to be victims of circumstance and become creators of our own reality. Courage is not forged by being happy in relationships every day. Courage is forged by overcoming difficult times and standing firm despite adversity. Epicurus. It is in those moments that we truly see patience, compassion, and the inner strength of each person. Courage is not avoiding conflict, but daring to face it, to listen, to hold fast to love, even when things get tough. Like steel hardened through fire and hammer, relationships grow deeper and stronger through trials. If every day were perfect, we'd never learn to forgive, to understand, or to protect what's precious when storms arise. Courage in love is not fleeing from others' flaws, but choosing to stay and overcome together. It is knowing that love is not just a pleasant feeling, but a journey of growth, commitment, and trust. It is in difficult times that courage is tempered, and when we overcome adversity, we not only preserve the relationship, but become a stronger, deeper version of ourselves.